What have you seen in particular from Quentin and how he's improved even since from the end of last year to now?
I think it's the big thing to me is development. I'm kind of like in deja vu mode, from Emmett 2 years ago to now it's Quentin, and working on Mackay, right? So it's like going through the process of what it takes to be a high level running back. I think there's no doubt when we recruited Quentin that he was an elite athlete, but learning the position is something that he's really shown that progress since last year to this year. He's really shown his comfort out there too. He's getting more comfortable and more confident, and so this is the best I've ever seen him. So we're really excited about where he stands right now.
I know you believed in him when he was a recruit, but do you have to bolster a guy's confidence that first year or two when it's not happening quite right away for him?
No, I think that's natural. I think it's a natural progression. I know we're in a different world now where the portal and everyone's kind of like, an immediate fix type deal. But, traditionally, it's all about development, And so development comes from repetition, and that's the only way to get better. And so when he got here as a young freshman, it was a crowded room. So it's a matter of getting those reps, in a team period where as a freshman, you may only get 2 to 3 reps in a team period as a young guy. Now you're getting, almost 5 to 10 reps, maybe 15 reps a day. That's a different type of development. So, I think everything's really on course for him. I think it's the ball's in his court at this point. I think he's really taking the coaching and really impressed with where he's at for sure.
How big for him was December?
Huge. We had a spot open up, and he got an opportunity to get like we just talked about, get those reps, and the confidence of going in that bowl game and running the ball in a short yardage situation. I think that put a little taste in his mouth, like, okay, I belong here, and so you can see it out there in spring in practice. It's just he's putting the running back menu together and making guys miss in open field, dropping his pads, being effective in short yardage. But also, he's a 215-pound running back that can run routes. So that's the impressive part. He's an every down back. So Emmett's in a really good situation, and Quentin's going to be just fine if he has to take that spot.
What have you seen from the incoming freshman Parker and also Booth?
Parker's got some injuries he's dealing with. I'll let Coach Rule handle that. He's got some things going on, so he's not in practice with us today. But nothing major. But watching him practice, he's got natural instincts, really good vision, really good feel for the rush skills. He really understands the run game. So, but right now he needs to focus on his body, get healthy. Connor Booth, same deal. I think the big question with him was, everyone, not from our perspective, but the noise from the outside was, oh, he's a Nebraska kid, blah, 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 blah. He ran for almost 3,000 yards. Can he do that at a big, the kid belongs here. There's no doubt about it. He's showing every day, getting better and better and better. He's showing that he belongs, and so we're really happy about where he's at.
You guys went really hard after multiple positions on offense, but even with losing Dowdell, not at running back, is that because of the confidence you have in Mackay and Quentin?
Yeah, when we got Dante here, he had 18 snaps. And a lot of people didn't think he was good enough. You know what I mean? So, and then we had a spring. He had a spring here, and he was going through the same process Mackay and Quentin went through. He had to learn protection. He had to learn identifying fronts pre-snap. He had to learn where your eyes have to be on every single run. He had to learn his read keys. He had to learn the menu. You know what I mean? So when he was at the place he was at before us, he was a scout team running back. He wasn't getting coached well. So when we got him, he was basically a high school freshman. And then through the course of spring, the course of summer, training camp, you saw what the kid could do on the field. And that's why, when the portal came open, everybody went after him because they could see the kid's got 3 years left and the trajectory he was on. I'm not trying to take credit for what his work. That's not what I'm saying. But that process is happening now with Mackay and Quentin. So we're fairly confident that those guys will hit that trajectory as well.
You said Quentin reminded you a lot of where Emmett was 2 years ago. Where have you seen Emmett make the biggest strides in investment?
Emmett's made strides almost every opportunity, every offseason. You know what I mean? So, I remember when I first got here, his first spring with me, he had an issue of looking at the football, getting the handoff. You know what I mean? And, he had to learn protection, And where do my eyes go? So like, then the second year he understood the position, and then it was like, okay, make explosive plays, right? And now going into this year, his third year with us, like the development process has transitioned onto the field. So he went from a guy that was developing in the room to now developing on the field to now progressing to being now a guy. He's solidified, and he's really at the top of his game right now. I mean, he's literally what we stand for as a program. If you look at what we talk about in recruiting and we talk about trying to build the program, he's a guy that represents that. You know, he's been through the process. He's been confident in the process. He's never. I know he wavered. I know there was some pressure on him with the portal and stuff like that. But he's a guy that believes in what we're doing. He believes in the coaching, and the coaching with him transitions to the field. And the best thing about this is that you've watched him grow from a guy that is ready to play to a guy that can possibly be one of the better players, if not one of the best backs in the conference. I mean, he has that kind of ability, and so he has a high standard, and he has high goals for himself. He's a competitive kid, but I believe he stayed the course, and he's earned the work. I mean, he's earned his position where he's at right now with reps and going through the hard work of becoming a good player.
What's your evaluation of just the short yardage work that you guys have done, and maybe who's the back or backs that are going to fill that role that Dante filled often for you guys last year?
So today was our first kind of shot at that right now. Quentin had a really good day today in short yardage. I know we'll give JB carried the ball for us a little bit. So he's a guy that can carry the ball. We got some other guys in the room. I mean, Quentin, Emmett can be a short yardage runner if we need him to be. Makai runs hard. Makai's ability to run the football is not something we have in question right now. Makai's just a young guy that needs the experience. But so we have some guys that can run the football in those situations. So we'll be fine there. And Quentin's really developing himself into that role right now.
32 pounds he's put on since he's been here. What as a coach, how much say do you have in that? What do you tell him about why he has to do that?
Well, I think it's a learning experience. I think when the high school kids get here, they don't really realize, the amount of stuff that they have to do to become a college player or a professional player. You know what I mean? So we do a great job in our nutrition program, but Coach Rule, we're hands-on on and off the field. So I know exactly how much he weighs every single day. If he comes in 2 pounds light, he comes in 3 pounds light. And Kristen does a fantastic job of making those plans for him. But every single day I'll get an email. I know exactly how much he weighs. So if he's down 3 pounds, I'll make sure that, hey, give me a quick reminder. Make sure you take your protein shake. Make sure when you wake up, go to before you go to bed. So it's something that we're hands on as a coaching staff. So it's not like he's still a young guy. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna let him I trust you to make the weight. So we're on top of him every day. So literally eating down lunch with him, looking at his plate, seeing what he's eating, all that stuff. So that's kind of our job.
What do you think? What's a good playing weight for Quentin?
I think right now where he's at, anywhere from 208 pounds to 218 pounds, as long as he can maintain his speed at his body weight, which he has been able to do. I think he weighed 214, 215 today. But if you watch him run a choice route, he can run a route like a smaller back. So that's the uniqueness of the kid. He's got flexibility. He's got twitch. He's got speed. He's got power. So really impressed. Now he's got to go do it. Now it's his time. He's got to go do it.
From what we saw at the end of last season, the expectation is that the running backs are going to be a lot more involved in the pass game, right? For you as a running backs coach, does that excite you to know that your guys are going to get, more balls in those opportunities?
Absolutely. I think I'm fairly lucky that I got a chance to be around Christian McCaffrey in that realm. You know what I mean? And saw the details of the route running that we did with coaching him and learning the techniques of being a route runner and how important it is. So that's really the wave of the position that's changing in college football and NFL football. I mean, you don't really have just the big backs, so I think you're kind of limited in that role because, the ability to play with 2 running backs or motion it back into the slot puts you in a real advantage. And I think that's something that Emmett, Makai have 2, Ken Williams, they have some strengths in route running. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thanks.